Hello guys, so on our first series we're going to see some simulation for lab setup. So in this series we'll be seeing how to install a VMware player or a workstation or a Virtualbox, which is the source for your lab setup to be running. And then we would be installing Linux. In Linux we'll be installing Ubuntu and Red Hat, and we're going to see some basics commands in Linux. And then I'm going to install Windows, and then I would be installing Active Directory, and then I would be installing a Windows client, and then we would be adding it to the domain, and then we would be learning on group policies, then we would be learning some networking, then we would be enabling file server, then we would be learning enabling IIS, and then some web technologies, and then we will move on to the storage part, where we have simulators from ONTAP and we have simulator from Celera, and then also we will be touching a little bit on FreeNAS, and more subjects will be touched based on the requirement from the audience. So don't forget to subscribe us and to click on the bell icon, where we can give you notification if there is any new videos coming in. So we are planning to put a series of lab setup which will help you to learn by yourself. So let's move on. So for the lab setup, you can have three options. One, either you can install VMware Workstation, or you can install VMware Player or Virtualbox. So what's the difference? They have no difference, but functionality wise all has the same goal, where you can have your own Virtualbox, where you can install your operating systems within an operating system. So in this option I'm going to choose Virtualbox. I will also try to simulate and show you how it works on VMware Workstation later on the next series. So let's start with the Virtualbox installation. So Virtualbox is from Oracle. So I will give you the link in the description. You can get it downloaded from there. So just like any other software, you can just install it. It's just trying to install 5.2.12 version of Oracle Virtualbox. I'm not sure if there is any new updates out in the market by this time. Since I have this downloaded already, it's been installed. Now I'm trying to start up the Oracle Virtualbox software. So just in case if you want to know more about this Virtualbox, and here is the link for them, and yes, I just got a pop-up that it has a new version available. So let's do that later. Alright, so it's a very simple and basic tool. It has just three menu: file and machine and help. So basically you will not have much options because you have not enabled anything. And on the right hand side you have virtual machine tools. Again, that will when you click on it, it should function when you have some VMs installed. And global tool is nothing. You can manage your virtual media, and then you can manage your networks. So I will talk about this network a little bit later. So first let's move on with the virtual machine tools. So first let's click on new, and we need to give a name for our operating system. So since I'm going to install Linux first, I'm choosing Linux, and it picked up type as Linux automatically. Here we have option what kind of Linux you're going to install. We have multiple versions, flavors of Linux. So currently I'm going to install Ubuntu 64-bit. Let's go to next. And see, the main functionality of having a Virtualbox running on your laptop or a desktop is that it's just trying to share the resource which is available in the laptop. So I'm just trying to allocate little bit of memory from my laptop for the virtual machine. So I don't want to have 1 gig here, so I'm just reducing it to 512. That's enough for the Linux, for the lab. But in real time, they might be having a memory of 16 gig or more, like 100 gigs, 64 gigs, depending on the purpose. So when you click on next, it gives you an option whether you need to create the virtual hard disk now, or you don't need to create now, or just use an existing disk if you already have a disk. So in this case, I'm going with the default one to create. And the next option which will pop up is what kind of disk image you're trying to install. So VDI is nothing but it is for only to be used within the Virtualbox environment of Oracle. So the extension is .vdi, which will Virtualbox disk image, and VHD is your Hyper-V disk, which is used for your Microsoft Hyper-V or a hypervisor when you use it on your Windows Server Hyper-V machine enabled. And the last one is VMDK, which is used for your VMware, and it's an extension for VMware machine. So in this case, I'm going with the default one, which will be your VDI, and then I'm choosing what kind of hard disk type I'm going to use. Okay, so people who might know, this is just for the people who are new for this. So there are two kind of allocation happens, like dynamically allocated or fixed disk. So what's the difference? Fixed disk, just imagine if I'm going to give a 10 GB of hard disk size. Okay, so what it does, when you click on fixed disk, it's going to reserve 10 GB of space from my hard disk. But if I'm going to choose dynamically allocate, it's just going to use whatever the size the operating system is going to take. Let's take an example. It takes like maybe a 0.5 GB of space to install the operating system, and I still have a lot of space available, and that space will be available for my laptop or desktop to be used, and it's not going to use the entire 10 GB of disk. So it just keeps growing as the data grows, and once it reaches 10 GB, then you will get an alert within your operating system stating that your disk is full. Okay, so I'm just going to choose dynamic. Alright, so size, so I don't want to give 10 gig there, so I'm just going to shift it to 5 gig. Remember, still I have given it as dynamic. Alright, your first virtual machine is ready to be powered on. So you have an option on the top now for settings, in case if you need to go and change some settings on display, storage, any such things, or any audio driver or network, and all these things are available here. Okay, and in case if you need to have more network adapters, you can enable it here, but currently it's only NAT, and I will explain you about these type of connections during the network subject when we are there. Okay, so currently I'm just skipping that, and then you just go and click on normal start. Okay, now it just gave us an option saying, okay, the hard disk is ready, but where will I install the Linux from? Alright, so I'm just going to choose the path where my Ubuntu ISO is available. And guys, you can download this operating system from Ubuntu site. If just in case if you need the link, I will post that in the description as well. So I'm just choosing the ISO, and see it's around like just 800 MB, and that might extract to maybe for a GB or more. Alright, so as soon as I turn on, it's just going to prepare the installation. And it just booted, and it's trying to initiate the setup. So it has like 9-step of process for installation. So the first one would be choosing your preferred language. So I'm going with so you can still see that it's trying to extract and install other functionality of the operating system. Okay, now installation is completed. I'm going to reboot. So it is first time rebooting, and it's going to ask me to remove the installation media because the installation media is already in. So let's press enter. Okay, now it is rebooted for the first time. Let's try to see if we can access the root. Okay, not sure if I typed the password wrong. Let me check. Okay, so let's try root admin, because root admin I have renamed it. And yes, we are in as root admin. So cleared, and we are in Linux. So let's learn about some Linux commands and other functionality in our next series. Thank you guys for watching, and please do share with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell icon where you will get notifications on our new videos. Thank you.